Welcome to an edition of Weather and Climate Chat. This is being recorded on Tuesday, November 28th, and should be available in the next day or two online. And we have not been here for a couple of weeks. Dr. Davis, my weekly co-host to this podcast, just been very busy, right, Dr. Davis?
Yeah, it's been a busy couple weeks, busy couple months. I got my tenure and promotion portfolio submitted, so
congratulations with that. Yeah, I'm sure that's a little bit of a weight off your chest. So now you just have to see what happens.
Now I can focus on the weather.
Now you can just focus on the weather. So it was, and I've been very busy here at the station. Typical end of semester things, students finishing up their air checks and getting ready for the new semester. So let's talk a little bit about the weather that we've had over the past month. October turned out to be one of the warmest on record. We don't really have to, be reminded too much of, those mid-80s days in the early part of October. But November did get more of an autumn type feel in the air. Generally, November has been a fairly average month, I would say.
Yeah, we had a couple of cold shots to start the actual month, and temperatures were pretty much autumn, if not almost winter-like in some days when we were flirting with the freezing temperatures, I believe, a week and a half ago. Was it 2 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, well, we had that one, if you remember, I was sending you videos of up near my house on Election Day. We had some...
Yeah, there was some snow by you.
Yeah, and that really wasn't supposed to happen even in my area. That was supposed to stay above I-80, but it made it down as far as I-78, and I think there was even some flakes around here, I heard. So
we received a couple of snowflakes around here, some grapple too. Yeah,
grapple, sleet. Let's have some fun with that. I mean, I had people, and I'm sure you get this all the time too, as a meteorologist. I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm a weather enthusiast. But I'm sure you get this. When that stuff was falling from the sky, people were like, "Oh, it's hailing out there." I'm like, "No, it's not hail. It is
not hail.
It's probably not even sleet. It's grapple." And then they look at me like, "What are you talking about?" So what is the difference between sleet and grapple?
Sleet is going to be ice pellets.
Okay.
So essentially you can think about that as water droplets freezing as they're falling and become blocks of ice.
Right.
And that's what you get with sleet. With grapple, on the other hand, it's formed mainly by accretion. And that's through a ice crystal falling and essentially coming in contact with supercooled water.
Okay.
Supercooled water is liquid water that is below freezing that does happen quite frequently in the atmosphere and contributes to precipitation.
Okay.
Specifically the Bergeron process, which helps ice crystals get larger, which allows them to survive all the way to the surface of the Earth.
Right.
When it encounters those water droplets, they essentially freeze to the ice crystal and form a layer of rime, as it's called, R-I-M-E. It's the same type of ice that forms on aviation wings. So when you get to get on the airplane, they de-ice the wings and the body to prevent the rime ice from essentially forming. And as the ice crystal falls, it's encountering the supercooled water. It creates that rime ice, and the wind resistance sculpts it into more of that spherical shape that we see, which is mistaken for hail.
Gotcha.
Typically, they may break upon contact. They kind of look like Dippin' Dots.
Yep.
The ice cream of the future.
Right.
Or tapioca snow.
Right.
Because it looks like tapioca pearls. But they are not hail. Hail is formed through a totally different process.
Right. So the long and short of it, very educational there. That's good lesson. I even learned a few things right there on how it's formed. So the long and short of it, though, is that November has felt much more seasonal. If you like seasonably crisp, chilly fall air, November has definitely been your month compared to October, which was so far above normal. Now, this past week, earlier this week, we've been experiencing some generally above normal temperatures, 5, maybe even 10 degrees above normal. Which is a little bit of a switch from where we've been most of November. Not like record-breaking highs by any stretches of the imagination, but a little higher than we've been for most of November and a little higher than average. What's going on now?
We've been having a couple of days of pretty much 50 degrees, if not a little bit warmer than 50. And that's pretty much attributed to a high-pressure system that's to our south, bringing us some warmer air from places like Florida for the past couple days. I'm just looking. We're recording this actually just so we have the dates correct. We're recording this on Tuesday, and actually, as we're recording this, Reading Airport is reporting 57 degrees. So that's pretty nice. It's pretty mild out there today. as we talk on Tuesday here. And this mild streak is probably going to continue for most of the work week until Friday, when we are seeing the front system come through. Now, when I showed my students the cold front passage on the map discussion on Monday, it looked like it was washing out almost. And now, before coming on air, it looked like it had a little bit more vigor to it and may actually stick around and do something on Friday as opposed to cloud cover.
Either way, though, even if it does, you're right. The latest GFS has it as being a little more vigorous. But even if it is, oh wait, I'm on the wrong week here. Even if it is, I think that it would only happen probably very early morning hours of Friday, like 1, 2 in the morning, and then it's straight in and out. So if you go to sleep early and wake up early on Friday, you might not even know it happened.
Yeah, and then high pressure comes in from behind and then clears things out and probably gives us a shot of colder air from the northwest. Yeah,
it gets moderately chillier for the weekend and might even have a rain or snow shower on Sunday, it looks like. And then we get back into a bit of a ridge again early next week with, slightly above average temperatures once again, maybe heading back to the 50s or or so.
Yeah, it looks like we might rebound some. And then, we're looking at, what is this, Wednesday?
This is
next week?
This is Tuesday
next week. Looks like some low clipper system moving just to north of the Great Lakes.
Right.
But that high pressure should keep that system further to north before a low pressure coming out of the mid-Mississippi River Valley comes up for next week.
And with that low pressure system comes a stronger cold front, it looks like, whereas, and this is getting pretty far out of our comfort zone. You and I don't like to get too far out, but it does look like, maybe a little another shot of some reasonably cold air again at the end of next week. And of course, some of the more irresponsible hype pages out there are heralding this as, winter, returns in full force, but I see it just as, another decent shot of cold air, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah. It doesn't seem anything to really write home about at this point.
Right.
I will say, though, that Friday is the first day of December, which is the first day of meteorological winter.
Yep. So we can expect that. Of course, everybody is now, the commercial world is everything Christmas, and that's great. That's all fine to be festive and stuff. And I'm getting the question a lot, and I'm sure you are too. Monsoon Mike, what are our chances of a white Christmas? And I would say that maybe compared to the last few years when we had 60s and 70s around Christmas, you might have a slightly better chance this year, but I still wouldn't bank on it being too white for this Christmas. What do you think?
I'm in agreement with you that I don't foresee a white Christmas for us. There may be a dusting that could get squeezed out of the atmosphere, but I have my doubts about that. If I had to put a percent on it right now, I'd say somewhere around 5-10%.
Okay.
And that's me being generous, I think, at this point.
Still better than that one year, what was it, 2 years ago when we had 72 degrees on Christmas?
I think some places were 80, weren't they?
Yeah, so the chances that year were about 0.
That's because we had the really strong El Nino that year.
Right. So, at least we're not dealing with that this year. So if you do like Christmassy feeling weather, you're going to get that this year, but maybe I wouldn't count on this.
And I'll share with my listeners what I told my meteorology students on Monday, that I'm still on record for saying that we're first receive our measurable snowfall in January.
So you're going to stick with that?
I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
I think December we're not going to get any.
Now, when you say measurable snowfall, you got to be careful with that a little bit, because is a trace of snow considered measurable snow?
To me, yes.
Okay. So even if we get like a dusting, that means you would bust on that forecast.
I would.
Okay, so that's such a pretty bold statement.
That is a bold statement.
Because even the GFS has maybe a dusting or two somewhere down the road.
Yeah. I probably stuck my neck out there, but I am reasonably
let's just say that
confident that we'll be getting through December snowless.
Well, let's have fun with this like we have in the past, you and I'm going to go out and stick my neck out on it and say that we will have a measurable snow in December, but no more than a dusting or so. But
we both could bust, and it could be some December snowstorm that drops a foot of snow.
That's. I think the last time that happened was 2010. I seem to remember, like right before Christmas, we had a decent snow. So yeah, it's possible, but we're not seeing it right now.
I'm going with the fact that we have so much energy in the atmosphere right now, plus the weak La Nina that is developing, which typically means a warmer and wetter northeast.
And another thing that I'm seeing also is a term that you hear some meteorologists use is the word progressive pattern. It looks like a fairly progressive pattern or Pacific pattern where it's just kind of everything keeps on moving. We have these spells of warmth, we have these spells of cold, but nothing really locks in there for any extended period of time.
Yeah, you want the air to pretty much be locked in for a while, and you need some type of coastal disturbance. That's why the North Atlantic Oscillation is typically used.
Right.
Forecasting winter snows here in the Northeast.
Right.
And we do have that cold air that looks like it gets locked in for a time next week.
Yeah, it looks reasonably cold.
There's no disturbance, though, coming through.
There's really nothing
To give us any sort of uplift mechanism.
There's really nothing major going on much of anywhere in the country, honestly. It's just pretty...
And that's why I asked to see the jet stream, because it looked like it was going to go pretty zonal. And, for those of you who don't know the zonal patterns of the jet stream, think about it as pretty much parallel to the actual lines of latitude. And when that happens, you don't get a lot of temperature change. They're kind of isolated, so they don't mix very well. And you need a change in temperature to induce some type of low-pressure system or uplift mechanism.
Okay. So basically, the long and short of this is we spent about 10 minutes just saying that it's going to be fairly monotonous over
Yeah.
So not the most...
There's not a whole lot of change going on.
Not the most exciting of Decembers coming up, but or late Novembers for that matter, late Novembers, early Decembers. But do you think, and this is getting kind of far out, do you think for the winter weather lovers who like the action of tracking storms that January at least looks a little more interesting than December looks right now?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I just think that winter is going to get a slow start.
Okay.
Similar to what happened last year, if I'm not mistaken.
We
didn't really have a lot of snow, if barely any, in December. And January, I think we didn't have much either.
No.
It was not until like late January, early February where we started to get the big snows.
And then we had that one in March, too, which was really late. Yeah. What was that, March, somewhere around the 12th or so last year? I forget. Well, earlier this year.
It was early March.
Early March. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Dr. Michael Davis and Monsoon Mike checking in with you for the first time in quite a few weeks to tell you that there's really not a whole lot to talk about.
We got to keep the masses entertained, though.
Got to keep the masses entertained. Did you have a good Thanksgiving, Dr. Davis?
I did. How about you?
Yeah, it was nice, very nice. Spent it with family. It was seasonably chilly, which made me happy because, you know me, I like the cooler weather.
We went back to Ohio, and it was a little bit cooler back there, about 40, mid-40s.
Okay. So it got you in the festive holiday spirit.
Yeah.
Crisp.
It was sunny. You didn't have to deal with any precip, although it was pretty cloudy later on, like Friday, the Saturday.
Has there been any lake effect action? Of course, those areas over there could get...
Not yet.
Not too much yet? Okay.
But...
I know they had a little bit earlier.
I wouldn't surprise me if back home in Cleveland, Ohio, that they got some snow at some point between now and Christmas.
So basically the long and short of it is it's this winter or this late fall and early meteorological winter looks to get a slow start. But if you like stormy weather, hang in there because still a long time to go.
Yeah, we haven't even started winter yet.
Still a long time to go. All right, Dr. Davis, we're going to try to do another one of these before the end of the semester. And then are you going to be around here over winter break at all?
I will be,
a little bit? Okay, so we'll try to record one or two, especially if a storm happens to pop up somewhere along the way. And then we'll get together and do our normal thing. All right?
Sounds good.
All right, Dr. Davis, good seeing you again. And best of luck at the end of the semester with your students.
Thank you.
Okay.